So in connection to probiotics, let's talk about microbiota of GI tract. Because as I said that in order to understand the probiotics, it's very important to understand the microbiota or microflora of gastrointestinal tract, because it is where the probiotics have to show their action, and it is where they have to balance the microflora of the GI tract, and that's how we can achieve the maximum health benefits of probiotics if we understand that microbiota and effect of probiotics on that microbiota. So we have known a lot in previous decades about microbial population that is found in GI tract, and there has been a lot of research. There have been extensive research that have shown that a lot of different microorganisms have been isolated from duodenum and jejunum part of the GIT tract, and they have been shown to reside there in many cases in most of the recent research. So if you look at the total population or the estimated total population of a general microflora, this is 10 raised power 14 viable bacteria in a normal adult gastrointestinal tract. And interestingly, this is a very high number. This is almost 10 times higher than the number of cells in a total human body and all the tissues, including all the tissues, all the cells. The number of these microbes is 10 times higher. And it is also stated that the microbes that are there on a normal adult body, the weight of that is approximately 2 kilograms. That's a huge amount of microorganisms, and that is why there's a huge variety of microorganisms and different genera and different strains that can be there in a normal microflora of a normal adult. So there is an immense potential, metabolic potential in this microflora. As I said, this is a huge number. There's a huge variety, and this microflora also plays very important role in the general metabolic process such as digestion or intervention, interacting with detoxification or toxification process, and also the immune system, the human immune system. This is also true to other cattle or other animals as well. This is also very much dependent upon this microbiota or microbiome. And now, because we have recently have got more capacity to understand this microbiome research, so that is why we can see that they are very much related to a lot of health conditions, or the tendency to have disease is also, it can be linked with this microbiota of GI tract. So they can be different types of bacteria or different classes. For example, we can have bacteroids, we can have eubacterium, we can have bifidobacterium. They predominantly populate the intestine, especially large intestine. And if you look at the role of lactobacilli in small intestine, in the small intestine, the lactobacilli, they actually dominate. It means they have got very high number in the small intestine as compared to the large intestine. If you look at the ecosystem of the gut, it is predominantly very much dependent upon this gram-positive genera Lactobacillus. Bifidobacterium, and most recently we have seen that eubacterium, they also have very important role to be played in the microbiota of GI tract. Lactic acid bacteria, if we talk about their presence in gut, so generally they represent lactobacilli in the human gut. As compared to domination in ileum part of human body, there is a minor part of them in colon as well. So as I said, predominantly they are small intestine, and then the very small portion of that can be there in the colon part as well. So even in the human feces, we can see that 1% of the total bacterial population, it makes up 1% of human feces as well. And it is possible that the proximal part of colon would have higher number of these bacteria. Uh, while the oxygen tolerant lactobacilli, unlike that, there are a lot of other anaerobic groups such as bifidobacterium and eubacterium. They have been shown to have some very good health implications, and we have come to know about them recently because after 1970s there have been more improved techniques by which we can actually isolate and study these microorganisms. They are also present in the GI tract as well. Uh, this bifidobacterium is predominantly present in infants, but in the human adults as well, they make up 3% of the total microbiota or the microbial population as well. Uh, Again, as I said, that because this study of bifidobacteria, it needs a reduced environment and special media that are needed. So it means we need to have special expertise in order to understand and develop bifidobacteria-based probiotics. And due to this later development in this area of research, we have come to know more about these kind of probiotics. So if you look at the functions of these gut bacteria, they would have a barrier function because they are attached to the intestinal mucosa, so they would be having a very good barrier function. They can protect us from many pathogens. They can stimulate the immune responses as well. And mucosal nutrition and circulation is maintained if we have the desirable gut bacteria that is present inside our guts. And once this balance is disturbed, as I earlier said, that might lead to certain diseases, or people get prone to disease due to this reduced barrier properties and restoration properties of the intestine. They also improve the bioavailability of many nutrients as well. They make them easily available to be attached and then absorbed by the intestine as well. And they also help the bowel movement or bowel motility. In other words, it can reduce the incidence of constipation in humans when they have got a sufficiently good number of these probiotics in the intestine with this functional property. So this was a little talk about microbiota of GIT in humans.